Welcome to Alan Fulle's Art Interviews. I'm your host, Alan Fulle. I interview artists from the Pacific Northwest and beyond. Join me as we unlock the magic and mystery of these amazing artists.
Hello, this is Grace Dager with Band of Toys on Alan Fulle's Interview with Artists podcast. Check us out.
Grace.
Good to see you, Alan.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for inviting me. I'm glad to be here.
It's a great pleasure to have you over to the fortress, the factory.
Thank you.
Whatever you want to say. It was such a fun morning with you.
It was a little windy,
A little windy.
but a lot of fun. Yeah, Band
We
of
got to
Toys.
see them working.
Yep. And it was interesting to see with what traffic there was. People were pretty interested.
Yeah, right. I bet they had never seen anything
No,
like that.
probably
before.
not. Probably not. And that's the fun part of it, is that it's such a unusual thing, and it's fun, and it, brings out the child in adults.
For sure.
Well, hello. I am Grace Dager, and I am a jack of all arts. And Band of Toy being one form performance art that I do. Basically, it's a recycle kind of thing, where I take broken toys, get them working again, or thrift shop toys and other strange plastic things I might find, and reassemble them into these kind of creatures. Would you like me to turn one on?
Sure.
Let's see.
They're just great.
Well, they're fun. They're, like I say, one aspect that I do. It's really fun because it's very interactive, especially if they're sort of left to roam free.
Yeah.
Um,
Like that one kind of headed off on its own.
I was going across the street.
It's like life almost, these robo life forms.
Well,
Because
they are. And that also brings us to AI, which is something else that's an interesting, if these things can have a sense of life to them, AI is just amazing. I've been doing some collaboration with AI, and that's how I see it. And now I wake up and my phone says, "Good morning, Grace. What would you like to create today?" Which my phone has never talked to me before. But yeah, I do Band of Toy. I've been collaborating with AI, and I do poetry. Call it my acetate library. My second book will be coming out in December. A little chapbook, and I'm also a painter, which I just brought a small representation today, but that's from the virus series. And I brought a poem.
Well, will you read it to us?
I would love to, Alan. Thank you for asking. Cut up poem, Grace Dager, me. It's titled Girl. Act 1. It didn't take the American dream. You could grab a quick bite, and he smoked before I could call. Black and white, forest, with soap and cleaning chemicals, doesn't understand, but also defies the culture of confession. More important information slammed into the river at 60 miles an hour. A sequence out of every long distance target and focus. A short, sharp shock will help, There's no gold without this. As we go underground, forget the utter pointlessness of human life, for each dies. Ready or not, all the conspirators of the plague, murder on the Red Cliff, some people, some other place, invisible lives, daughter of somebody's daughter, we should never meet. The saint of dragons, boss lady, madman, two old women kidnapped by thieves. Legendary love story of the fight, holy fools quicksilver becoming devilish alchemy of fire. Men on the moon as pioneers of the next paradigm are each positioning themselves from her home with trash and tufts of grass. Devotion to misery won't wake you. Be ready to see. Now you can watch middlemen put the industry's longest war and time release before and afters in the counterfeit purse. That will take home the top wow. Lean and delicious, with endless possibilities in your blood for something serious. And flooring the other guys, it's the difference between like and love. There's a simple reason why counterfeits hurt. Families suffer, and that made all the difference. But better yet, we have a powerful dual action. Lighting fantastic facts whenever, wherever you want. Straight to your Emerald Isle vacuum. Drop this old rant. You gotta love. Liquidators write expert advice, retrofit on an average of resources. And stressless, good state. Delivered big reveal to save yourself from disaster. Act 2, Winter. Men, it's time. We're trying to be serious about even the animals on Earth and the people all over them, whispering each other down until I have seen a tide of spilled oil. We must do things. One goat is forced to look away, revealing the floor's secret biases. Well, you see, they had something to say.
That's beautiful. I enjoy your poetry.
Oh, thank you, Alan. Thank
So,
you.
tell us a little bit about your origin story. Where were you born, and what did you do? Have a family, or did you just pop into this earth?
I was raised by wolves.
Fully developed, or how did you get to this plane?
Well, I was born in California, but we moved quite a bit. My father was in nuclear physics engineering, and so at a certain point we moved around fixing bad nuclear power plants. It's like, look, let's save our family vacations here. And so, basically I come from irradiated sperm, and that's why I'm so bright, Alan.
There's two of you.
But, yeah, I actually see a lot of influence from my formative years in Japan. My mother taught English, and my father worked on the Fujiyama.
Fukushima?
Yes. Yeah, my father worked on that one. And basically, I was babysat every day by Buddhist Shinto monks. We lived across the street from a monastery. And yeah, konnichiwa, Aka-chan, little Grace-chan, And they would walk with me through the gardens, and I really see that come through my art a lot. Yeah, it's formative years, but I went to high school in Miami, and originally I won a scholarship for my art and my writing, at the University of Miami. But a year and a half, and I was on the dean's list, you know, I was doing really well. And then I get diagnosed I was not class 4 originally, immediately, but class 4 cancer, which changed the trajectory of my life, really. So that was very scary, and I left the area to go find healers up in upstate New York. A friend of mine had a cabin up there, and he said, well, you could go stay in the cabin. There are a lot of healers up there. And the cabin's roof had fallen in. He had not been there for quite a while. So my partner at the time and I, we ended up, my car died, and I had an art gallery at the place where my car died for a year, called Elf's Arts, Craft, and Occasional Music. And it was actually kind of to get into the whole art thing there. I did a poetry reading, and they loved my poetry. And so then people brought me their wares to put in the shop. The shop happened because someone had a better opportunity in the city, and so they pulled out during the season. And my landlord and landlady came to me. They were dizygotic twins, 25. I was 19 and dying of cancer. And basically, I reminded them of their mother, who was an artist who had died of a brain tumor. But she was present everywhere, but her art had not been up since her passing. And we brought it out of the basement, put her art up, Rena from Xena. And that was a real magical time, actually. Yeah, so I had a little art gallery there. I mean, but then actually, I didn't die. I mean, they gave me 7 months to live, and I'm watching the clock and everything, and went back to Florida because I didn't think I'd survive the winter. I had a couple close calls. I was in ICU for 2.5 weeks. I'll tell you, if you lose a lot of weight because you're in ICU, what do you end up with? A huge nose. It's the only thing that doesn't shrink or expand. Anyway, so I thought I'm going to have a hard time with the winter. So went to Florida to basically prepare myself to die as a, that's what was going to happen. I didn't want to die in a hospital. So I basically prepared myself, ran, swam, did yoga. I was a very healthy person before I was diagnosed with cancer too. Anyway, 7 months came and went, and I was still there. So I went to a doctor to find out why I was still alive. They sent me to the psych ward. No. But anyway.
They're like, we could take care of this.
Yeah. Well, she thought she was going to die, right? No. There was no sign of cancer anymore.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. Well, I've had bouts.
Do you think you fought it off through all these?
I think I was young.
You're strong.
And yeah, I think
and you
I had
lived a healthy life before then.
Very, very healthy.
But
I started smoking when I was already dying because very kind people in upstate New York were smokers in the winter, and I couldn't tolerate it. But I was dying anyway, so I started smoking because it made me a better guest. And and yeah, so I have this strange connection with smoking saved my life. But I understand that that's magical thinking, and I'm just addicted, but to cigarettes, let's get real. But I do think it's a poor girl's autoimmune suppressor.
But you didn't die.
And I didn't die, and
So-
I've had different times in my life where I've had a cancer diagnosis, but I'm still here, and
Just a fighter and a survivor.
yeah, I'm a little scrappy one, but yeah, and I have lived in old buildings, made my way. I'm not really the best apartment kind of girl. I like a lot of space, and being an artist. I don't know if it's necessary or not, but I am poor, but not really. I mean, my life is extremely rich, I think, but I've lived in old buildings and made them livable, and I've done the same again up in Everett. Very happy up there. Goldie Lofts is the name of my place, and I have a little visiting artist nook, and which we'll have to get you in there sometime.
Be fun.
Yeah.
No, I love the little Everett world that you helped create. It's such a idyllic, like you said, former Seattle, almost like in former Seattle, and you're able to work there and
work there, live there.
Your studio and live.
Live. I've got 5,000 square feet where I am, but no one wanted the space. I mean, it had water, but it all drained out in the stairwell or the mezzanine. It had electricity, but I know I kept that building from burning down because somewhere along the line, someone had built a wall in front of a critical junction box, and the wire had come undone. It was arcing in the wall, and when I got there, someone had put jigsaw blades in the outlets and broken them off. I mean, it was quite a mess. And you know, and on a shoestring budget, I made it. Well, you've been there. It's a beautiful place.
It's great.
It was so much fun. It's really so much fun to be resourceful. I mean, I find it fun. You know, it's stretches the brain and better than crossword puzzles, I think. You know, here's this odd thing. What is it? I don't know. What could it be used for? Ooh, you know, that's always a fun thing to do.
And you had spaces in Seattle for years and years, right?
Oh yeah. I was in the Butnick building in Pioneer Square, the State Hotel, 75 cents a room. I had the third floor. Yeah, it was condemned, but we just put hinges on it, the boarded up part, so it could still look condemned if you needed it to, or it could open as my door up this to the stairs, and that was a great space. That was a wonderful space. It had nothing, but by the time I left, I had my own fuse box. I had plumbing. I had a shower, a toilet. Toilet really is the bringer of civilization. And you could get a lot of great real estate if there's not a working toilet. I have a plumber. I am loyal to my plumber, Steve Maggard. He has made my life possible, both in my last studio and in this one. And with me, he traded paintings for work. Matter of fact, he came before I signed anything. I had to know if this was doable or not. I mean, because it was a huge project. But like I said, I had so much fun transforming the space. That was great. And this place in Pioneer Square also, by the time I left there, I had my own fuse box. And that was also through trades, different artists / plumbers or sheet metal worker / electrician at the Pioneer Square, traded art lessons, the children of the people who helped out, and that was so much fun. I mean, I have been living this lifestyle, and I mean, it's there's a certain point where what security do you have? Well, I have as much security as anyone does, I think. Day to day, you just don't know what's going to happen. But I do believe that, the owner of the building loves what I've done, and he loves coming to art walks. So there you have it. That's a...
Perfect.
Yeah, it really is great. His vision was to make, to make spaces for artists, I mean, he's a businessman, but he knows what he loves, and he loves antiques and art. So, yeah, I'm very fortunate. Matter of fact, it was a banded toy show that connected me with him. I had met him once before, years before, and my studio in Seattle, I got this email. The new owners had taken possession of the building, and they gave me a 20-day notice. I'd been there 15 years. And a 20-day notice, my head started to spin. At the same time, I got an email from the younger generation artist who, she says, "Oh, I found you. I'm curating a show. I really would love you to have Band of Toy perform for this show I'm curating." And so here I have these two emails, and could have gone either way, a chicken with its head cut off running around trying to throw things in boxes. Or I could do what I think my true job is, which is to, the next generation, be there for them. And I chose that, and it was in Seattle, and I set up Band of Toy, and I'm doing the show, and kids and adults were enjoying it, and then it was starting to get dark, and I really get into things when I get into it, so I was still doing it all and everything, because there were still people enjoying it. And then at one point I looked up, and there is Pete, and I went, "Hi, Pete." And I jumped up and I said, "I need a place." And so that was, that was a connection there. So in a interesting way, it was life confirming that I made the right choice. And then it turns out that if you don't have a crane, you cannot destroy a building. And there was basically a backlog on the cranes, and I did get a year, about almost a year, to organize my things, and also decide whether I could take on that project. It was empty. It was empty for years. Nobody wanted to take. Actually, somebody, when they heard I was looking at that space, went to look at it, made an appointment, and went and looked at it also. And it was too much for him. So,
in terms of your artistic path or journey, mm-hmm. Tell us about that. How did we get to these Band of Toys, and how did we?
Oh.
What was did you start out long ago as a young artist doing these toys? Or?
Yes, actually I did. At 3, my mother was making Christmas ornaments, and she wanted them to all be symmetrical and very ordered, and I had other ideas, and I ran up and got this shoebox out from under my bed, and I put together my own Christmas ornament using a Martian head from a doll that had come off, half of a yo-yo for the halo, a game piece that was green with a pink part of a pink roller for your hair over the game piece, and it all stayed together, and year after year after year it stayed together. And my mother knew at that point that she had a lot on her hands. But yeah, that was my very first creature. Claire Colquitz did a window at Coca. He was curating a series of windows at Coca. We had been in the Peep Show together at the OK Hotel, and I got this call from him saying, "Grace, someone, canceled or something. I have this month open, and after seeing your work at the Peep Show, have you ever made anything mechanical, that moved?" And I said, "No, I haven't, but I'll learn." And so that was my first moving sculpture. There's, I forget how much it was per view, but there was 12 minutes of potential viewing on this, and it was wonderful because Claire had this bicycle, and you would pedal it and push different sequences on a stationary bicycle, and push different sequences that would make different things happen. And I had the audio cut-ups, and so the audio would come out on the sidewalk, and then I had these creatures, and one had this hand that would hit a ball, and his head would spin, and the other one blew up and blew down, and the lights would come on, and different things would happen. And I created a little fire in the yard of the place I was at that point to see how far I could push a motor. I figured better to happen here, but I worked at the time at the art museum, and Coca was next to the lusty lady there, and Metropolis Gallery was entrance in the alley, and I helped all that kind of. So that was sort of like my little triangle, and the one trouble that the window had was the potential for people to put in Canadian quarters, which are slightly magnetic, and they would get stuck there, so other quarters wouldn't go in. So I was able on my lunch break, I was AV girl, so I had different time periods. I could go across the street and make sure no quarters, came in on one of the cruise ships, or just, but yeah, keep that thing working. And it worked the whole time too. I was very thrilled with that. And then later, years later, I was sick again, and had a period of time where Harbor Review saved my life. But yeah, they really did. But during that time, I wasn't really well enough to work on the bigger canvases, and and I thought about that. And I make creatures. I used to make creatures and then paint their portraits. So the creature would be here physical, and then the portrait would be up. I was going to get my master's at UW, but they wouldn't let me do that. They said, no, you can't do both. I said, look, I've already not told you about video, or the poetry, but I make creatures and paint their portraits. They said, no, you have to pick one or the other. And it really kind of was it was upsetting to me, because I don't think people should be limited in their pursuit of creativity. That's when I started making sculpted canvases, because you can't take the sculpture out of the painting, actually. That's my response to that. So, perhaps the artist's response to things, but I had a studio in White Center. That was wonderful. It was almost like Mexico. Pull up in the car, and I'd have my supplies, put them in a wheelbarrow, and I'd go down the little path through a gate, and I'd say hi to Daisy, the little pot-bellied pig, and bring her an apple, and go on down, and there were two art barns. Mine was one, and Seymour, who was in the band Tripod, had the other one, and it was wonderful. But it got demolished also. However, it was captured on film, even though they tried to run them off, and so my art barn is famous now. But when it was time to go, there was a toy that was being thrown out, and they said, "You want this, Grace?" And I said, "Yeah." And it seemed like it was dead, and it just sort of sat there. But when it was time to go, not only did one of the ponies come in my art barn, little ponies for Trish Lee Foss. She has a business, the Dog and Pony Show for kids, and so they were miniature horses, the ponies, and so the horse came in, but also the toy just came alive, and it was like, whoa! So that was like that stuck with me, and then I just started because of the Claire Colquitt's experience with the he does amazing things with air. The air. I lashes fluttering and things that he makes. It's really amazing. But I thought, wow, look at this creature that is this kid's toy. Look at all the parts that are going on with this. So, and like I said, when I was sick again, I started really making the toys because I could do that from bed when I wasn't well. You know, tearing them apart, swapping their parts out, and I, you know, basically, I love that people get involved. That usually brings out the child in adults, and I really appreciate that. And I think people need to have more laughter in their lives. It's very healing. Laughter and singing. It's hard to be depressed if you're laughing or singing. But yeah, and people do laugh with Bandit Toy, or they'll get up out of their chair and go, you know. And the toys themselves are basically innocent. They are just a toy. But, you know, it's a phenomenon that they usually all get grouped together and do strange-looking things, and people read into that. So, I mean, I particularly enjoy that aspect of it. And, you know, the funniness of them, it was a good thing. Yeah, I'm, and I still do performances with them, but I haven't actually, maybe it's because I haven't been sick, but I haven't made a toy in a while. So it's how many I have that still run.
Well, it's a lot of fun, and I think one of the fond memories I had was one of the first times that I kind of saw the toys. You know, I think it was in Georgetown, and you were in like some alley, and this wacky lady is pushing this shopping cart with a bunch of weird toys in it.
Yeah.
This is right up my alley. This lady is crazy. Like this is complete madness.
Complete madness.
And I was like, yeah, this is 4-wheel drive madness. This is cool. This is really, really cool. So it's a lot of fun to see, and so you know, and it's been fun.
I had that shopping cart so rigged out. I had side pockets for them. I had plexiglass shelves that they were velcroed together so that the whole thing could kind of move around, and I had the side saddle pockets that I could pull them out and put them on the ground also. So yeah, I did that a lot for Carnival, the Georgetown Carnival, different years. When it was time to move from my last studio, I disbanded that cart. Oh, I had a big umbrella on it too. I was in the Fremont Parade with Bandit Toy in that cart. A one-stop wonder. Yeah, that cart was great. So I undid it all, and someone said, "Are you sure? Are you sure?" And it's like, yeah, I don't need a shopping cart.
So do you have a philosophical or religious or spiritual
Bent,
or is this
I
part
do.
of the journey? Is it the
Oh yeah, making art for me is creating the sacred space. It's that zone. I could get lost in that zone. It's timeless. It's, you know, or all time happening at the same time, whatever. But it's that sacred space. So it's really more about that and the creating in that space than anything else for me, really. I mean, I appreciate doing the Bandit Toy shows or putting my paintings up in a show, or performing the poetry. But it's what it really is for me, though, is it's that sacred space that happens when you get in the zone, you know.
Can you read us another poem?
Yeah. I could read one of these. I'm just going to pull it off here. Whoops, I know it.
Rip it on down?
The long one.
The long one?
Yeah.
Just
pull
will
down.
it pull?
Yep.
Okay.
These are nice because they show you the front and back.
Yeah, the presentation is lovely.
Oh, brief story on how I got started and how I picked Seattle to come live from the East Coast. I was in D.C. studying. I took a couple classes at the Cochrane Gallery School.
Okay.
And I was introduced to the art movement, Monty Canson. And Monty Canson is a publisher of magazines or any sort of word thing. And I'm Monty Canson, and you can be too. And so as long as you took certain letters and scrambled them up and made your magazine. My first cut-up piece was actually done in 1982 in Washington, D.C. And when I came out here, because I'm Monty Canson, I'm Monty Canson, and then I found out here the subculture Bob, subculture Bob. Bob, you don't know Bob. Well, anyway.
I might, but it's not ringing a bell right this moment.
So there, Maris Kunzen, we were talking, and so I really liked the Subgenius. And
Church of the Subgenius.
That's it. And Maris Kunzen was Monty Canson, and I said, and I'm Monty Canson, and that was out here, so that's when I knew I would stay, because, East Coast to West Coast. Yeah. Anyway, so I've been making cut-up poetry since then. I have bags and bags. I have one suitcase that what's in the suitcase? I open it up, and it's cut-ups from the 80s. I mean, words. So I invite people to come over and sit on my words. I have cushions filled with words. The life and death of my ambitious career, malfeasance or misfeasance. It's who we are down to the core. You're catching me at such a special moment. I'm still in this magical place. Wherever you go and whenever there's light enough to see, thatching, so reseed. In the particulars, a scary cute dialogue creates empathy within us, and over time invites us to see the world through the eyes of others. And to my knowledge, time is running out to begin planting the garden of your dreams. If it's raining where you are, a possibility in the South reimagined a perfectly ordinary human being. Let me confess my servile secret. Yes, mostly this tiny drop contains more than its red lipstick. On the one hand, you're glowing. The blue night sticks to transition. Leagues on hiatus, forgoing other necessities of life, struggle to get by with social equality. Just lock them in a cell and throw away the key. You are all our front line. You are all our frontline models, all with full war, exfoliating discretion in a manifestly unreasonable manner. Adorn yourself with the feminine highlights amid warm autumn. Following investigation and findings of legal basis is unclear, but after gun laws vow to suspend immigration, it's easy to get enough water to slim down. Or find the courage to love a truly loving man, a real headshaker. Another sign that we are living in strange times is correctly stated.
What really stands out for you over time, your years here in Seattle and your experiences with the art world, Can you tell us a story, something really head scratching, something?
I don't know. I used to salvage for all of my things to make my studios work. Tried to do it legally, but they don't want you to step on a nail. So it was such waste, so I'd wait until the blinky lights were there, and I'd go in and get everything I needed, including...
Liberate the materials?
Liberate the materials, yeah. And that was, that was how I made a lot of my studios happen.
What about, but significant moments in your life? What about, tell us about your...
Not dying of cancer was very significant.
That's a huge, significant moment.
It really galvanizes your priorities. I mean, I originally had a scholarship for my art, my writing, so it was in the fore for me, but it really, instead of a job and art being secondary, art is the first important thing in my life. I find it healing. I find it soul soothing. Yeah. And I do have a philosophy. I mean, very much. Energy. Everything is energy, really. Timing and energy. And, a little bit of poison could be medicine or it could kill you. Depends on how you do it, what time you do it. But I don't know. I mean, the art for me is, I believe, why I'm still here.
Gives you purpose?
Yeah. My bird.
Tell us about the bird.
Well, I've had Birdie for 22 years now. He is a crow. He showed up on the door of my last studio, and I really wanted nature to take its course. I mean, I never intended to have a crow, but I saw that he wasn't going to make it overnight, being where he was, and brought him in. I realized I had to figure out how to feed him or he wouldn't make it. And that was I tried a tongue depressor, I tried a spoon. No, it was a plastic Taco Del Mar knife. It was black, he threw his mouth over it, and I guess they've got a little area that needs to be stimulated when they're young in order to swallow. So, but that did it. And when he was well enough, I tried to put him back outside, and he didn't want to go. And so I went to a exotic bird place, and I said, well, where's a wildlife rehabilitation center? And they said, he's a crow, bring him in, we'll euthanize him for free. And my jaw dropped out, I couldn't put it back in. I said, what? I said, yeah, we'll euthanize him for free for you. It's the best thing for him. Well, then the gloves came off, and that's that. Here's this delightful little creature. 22 years later,
Wow.
Yeah, I adore him. That was another thing. I could have Birdie Bardot, trumpet or crow. I could have Birdie where I am too. So that's what, when there's a space that leaks and nobody wants it, you could usually have some leeway of what you can do. That's why I like those spaces.
Fun companion.
Oh, he's wonderful. And I also have a little kit. Well, she's a cat now. Wild born in Montana. I adopted her. She's feral to everyone but me. She follows me around, and they've worked out a nice understanding. She's scared of him. Yeah, seriously. My second chapbook is coming out in December. I'll be the feature reader at Sister's Restaurant in Everett on the 16th of December. And March 2025, I have a one-person show at the Russell Day Gallery at the Everett Community College Gallery there.
Grace, it was a pleasure and an honor
Alan.
to have you over and share your art and your fun creativity.
And I love seeing your portraits here. It's wonderful.
So,
yep. Bye. Welcome to my world. Hello. This is Grace Dager with Band of Toy. Hello. This is Grace Dager with Band of Toy, my world, on Alan Fulle's Interview with Artists podcast. Check us out. Whoa. Come on, what's wrong with you?
Hey, thanks for watching Alan Fulle's Art Interviews. I hope you learned as much as I did about Pacific Northwest artists. Please like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more exciting episodes to come.
Thank you.